it seems to me it is not asking too much when we let people into this country that we have a care that they share these ideas or are willing to share these ideas and are coming here for those ideas. They're always talking about economics. They always talk about the better life that you get here. And you do have a better life, and that's because our ideas are good ideas, and our ideas describe reality. But the important thing is that they share and are capable of sharing these ideas. So we should only let in people who are capable of agreeing with our ideas. Secondly, we need to be willing to teach them our ideas boldly and confidently, and say, you know, this is, we don't have to say every idea comes from Athens and Christianity, but they should know the history of freedom. Freedom has a history. It doesn't drop it like the gentle rain from heaven. It was built on certain ideas. Inch by inch, people fought and died and thought and spent their lives building the ideas that give us the freedoms we have. And we should be willing to teach that to people at every step of the way, especially when they come from foreign lands. And finally, we should have the boldness and confidence to enforce the laws that are passed in accordance with our ideas, because our Constitution is a legal representation of our ideas brought into governmental life. And we should be able to say, when we pass a law, it gets enforced. If we don't want to enforce it, we get rid of the law. We change the law, whatever we do. Now, let me ask you something. At what point, so we have three things: let in people who will agree with us, teach them about America and what it stands for, and enforce the laws that are created through the American system. Which one of those do Democrats agree with? Do liberals agree with? Make it broader. Do leftists agree with? None, okay? They're willing to just open the borders, so they're not obeying the law. Suddenly the law disappears because they feel like, oh, you know, we feel so much. We're so tender-hearted. We have so much compassion that we're going to open the borders. They don't want to do that. They don't, you know, in leftist schools, do they teach that America is a good thing, that our ideas should supersede the ideas of other people, that our ideas are better than the ideas that created Kenya or the ideas that created China or Russia? Do they talk about that? I don't think so. I mean, in some schools they do, but there are a lot of schools where they're teaching you that you are oppressed, that these laws are bad things. So at any point, are they willing to defend the ideas that make America such a draw to people from around the world, and have done? You know, we talk about, Donald Trump talked about the fact that we should be careful who we let in from Muslim countries, especially Muslim countries that are dysfunctional. Chuck Schumer reacted to this hilariously by bursting into tears. Do we have? I think we have this cut about. Yeah, this is cut 12. Now, here's the reaction. So, in other words, Donald Trump, no great intellectual genius, but simply said, you know, we should let in people who love this country. Here's Chuck Schumer's reaction to that.
This executive order was mean-spirited and un-American. It was implemented in a way that created chaos and confusion across the country, and it will only serve to embolden and inspire those around the globe who will do us harm. It must be reversed immediately. Senate Democrats are going to introduce legislation to overturn this and move it as quickly as we can. And I, as your senator from New York, will claw, scrap, and fight with every fiber of my being until these orders are overturned.
And so he's surrounded by Muslim Americans, and it's all about the emotion. It is always about the emotion. But if you start to think about it, first of all, they will play your emotion any way they want. So if the people come up and they say, you know what, we really should enforce the law. I mean, it's the law, right? Because the question is not who comes into the country first. That's not the first question. It's who decides who comes into the country. And obviously, it should be us. It should be Americans who decide who comes into our country, not whoever wants to come in. Oh, I want to come in, so I get to come in, or I'm in trouble, so I get to come in. There are all kinds of ways to solve the problems of people in trouble without letting them into the country, all kinds of ways to do that. But when the public says, you know, we don't want to let more people into the country, suddenly Chuck Schumer becomes a tough guy. Then, once people are here, it's suddenly the emotional thing again.